Home prices in St. Catharines are down nearly $90,000 since the peak of April 2025. Home prices in St. Catharines have declined by nearly $90,000 and things are just getting started. If you're looking to buy or sell this spring in St. Catharines, our March statistics have just come out and there's 4 numbers that are really going to influence how you approach buying and selling. I'm David Hildebrand, your local St. Catharines realtor, and I help families just like you make the move to St. Catharines each and every week. I'm going to walk you through the March statistics to let you know what the market trends are, how you should approach buying a home if you're looking to buy in St. Catharines this spring, and what you should be doing as a seller to prepare yourself and your listing for the spring market. Now, before we get into the data, I put out a free buyer relocation guide for St. Catharines, and it highlights everything you need to know about making that move. We go over neighborhoods and amenities, where you should live, what the cost of living is, and so much more. If you want access to that free buyer relocation guide, you can just click the link in the description below and I will send that over to you. It is totally free to get. Now, let's get into the data. All right, so I want to start us off. We're just in a program called the Habitat, which tracks a lot of integral metrics for the housing market as it pertains to whatever time frame that you want to. So we see that we have the St. Catharines, Niagara region. We're including every type of home so that we get a bigger picture as to what the market's doing. And we're going to be looking at everything back from March of 2025 to March of 2026. So we're taking a full year of data. So the thing I want to look at right now is the average sale price to show what's been happening. So if we look at March, the average sale price for a home in St. Catharines is $565,454, with the prior month being $567,000. So we're down slightly month over month, down 0.4% from last month. But if we look back to the prior year, the average price was $614,597, which is an 8% decrease year over year, showing that the market, although it has been stabilizing recently, it has been coming down from where we were at here back in March at 614,000 in March of 2025. So let's move on. Let's go to the average list price here to see where listings have been going. So you can see that the average list price has also been following that same trend. As we look here, the average list price was $634,000 in March. Prior year was $715,000. So that is a 11% decrease year over year, showing that sellers have been having to adjust where they have been listing their homes in order to get their homes sold. New listings volume is also an important metric. It indicates how many new listings are hitting the market particularly to show sellers how much inventory you're competing against. So we can see here down in December, we had a very low amount of new listings, which is normal for that time of year. But now we've creeped up and had a little bit of an explosion here in March with 335 new listings in St. Catharines. Prior year was 368 new listings. So we've seen less year over year. But if we look at the month over month, we've seen a 42% increase from last month in terms of new listings. If you're a seller, the timing to list your home may be right now, because I'm expecting to see more and more listings come as the weather gets nicer and as the spring market hits full tilt. So if there's a high amount of new listings, there's a good chance as a seller that you're going to be competing to try and sell your home with a lot more other homes around you. Average days on market is another important one. So if we look here to March, we see that days on market was 43 days. Prior month was 42. But then if we look back into the winter in January, that used to be at 58, which was a little bit of an anomaly for a month. But we saw lows last year even in May, all the way down to 28. And then if we go all the way back to March, that was 43. So year over year, average days on market has stayed relatively the same. It's gone from 47 days on market last year to 43 days on market this year. Not a huge shift overall. Number of active listings is another great number to be looking at, which is how many listings are currently on the market, including new listings, which that number sits at 562 for St. Catharines, and then prior month was 528, so that has gone up just 6.4%, a lot less than the amount of new listings. And then the prior year was 595, which is a decrease actually of 6% in terms of new listings. Sorry, active listings. And finally is months of inventory. Now, months of inventory is an important statistic because it tracks how long it would take to sell all the current inventory if no other houses came on the market. Now, there's a rate that homes are currently selling. So if nothing else came on the market, how long would it take to sell everything else that's available based on how long it's currently taking to sell a house? So the lower the number, the better it is for sellers. And if we're sitting anywhere between 4 to 6 months of inventory, we're generally in what's called a balanced market. If the months of inventory is higher than 6, we would be in a buyer's market because sellers are having a harder time selling. And if that number was lower than 4, then we would be in more of a seller's market because there's more buyers that are looking and they're scooping things up faster. So as we look to the data, we see that it's 4.29 months of inventory in St. Catharines, which is actually a really good number. It shows that we're in a balanced market. The same number was applied in February at 4.29, and then as we got to the winter months, you can see 5.8, all the way back to October was 6.3. So the market has been trending towards a more balanced market, even though prices have been on the decline. As I mentioned before, almost $90,000 from April of 2025. But the market is healthy and things are moving if they are priced right. So here is my 90-day outlook as we head into Q2 of 2026. I see spring being a more active market, both for sellers and for buyers. We've already seen that the number of new listings has increased significantly from February, and I expect the buyer activity to match that. Now, we saw that number at 4.29 months of inventory, which is lower than it has been in quite some time, indicating that St. Catharines is experiencing more of a balanced market than it is experiencing a seller's or a buyer's market. Now, for the past while, it has been a buyer's market, but buyers, you're losing a little bit of the negotiating power as we head into the spring market, as the numbers are showing us. More listings means more choice for buyers, which is awesome. But for sellers, it means more competition and more pressure on pricing strategy. If the number of new listings continues to outpace the number of sales, then we're going to see it trend back towards a buyer's market. However, if buying stays steady with the amount of new listings, then we're going to probably see what I anticipate to be a more balanced market through spring. For sellers, the spring market is your clean shot at a good sale. The most important thing for you is to price your home right, and then you can let the activity come to you and your home should sell relatively fast. For buyers, the window of strong negotiating levels is starting to decline, as we see with months of inventory. Now is going to be your time to jump into the market before things get crazier as spring goes on. I hope this month's data for the St. Catharines real estate market has been helpful for you and has given you some insight as to where the market is and where the market is going. Again, if you want to get access to that free buyer relocation guide to see what the cost of living is for St. Catharines, as well as what kind of schools there are, what different neighborhoods there are, and what could be a possible match for you, then you can click the link in the description and get that totally free. I'm David Hildebrand, again, your local St. Catharines real estate agent, and I would be happy to jump on a call with you and discuss your plans as you choose where you want to live in St. Catharines in the beautiful Garden City. My number is 905-353-5149, and you can call or text me directly to set up an appointment to talk about what move is the right move for you. I look forward to seeing you in our next video.